Well, it has been way too long since we have caught up with our next guest. He was on the call Sunday for ESPN Radio as the Ravens took down the Patriots. You, of course, see him on ESPN and hear him on ESPN Radio. He's former Raven Chris Canty, and he's back with us now on GCR. Chris, it's Glenn. Been too long, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Man, Glenn, thanks for having me on. And I got to say this about our guy, Lamar Jackson. I knew he was one of the most entertaining athletes on the planet, but it's different when you get to see him up close and personal on a 5-touchdown day. It was amazing to watch him do his thing yesterday in Foxborough.
Chris, I'm so glad that you bring this up, man, because it's hard to define for me. Like, we've known how good Lamar Jackson has been for some time, and despite all of the idiocy that exists about him within the outside world, people who still question him as a passer, things like that, we've known here for a long time. But yet, it somehow seems like he has still risen his game to even another level from, what was already unanimous MVP level before.
No doubt about it. And the thing that I like about what I'm seeing from Lamar now is just his evolution as a quarterback, being able to win from the pocket. Yesterday, he was dominant against the New England Patriots against the blitz. He was 9 of 10 for 107 yards and 4 touchdowns. And in the red area, he was just as deadly. You're talking about him being 7 to 8. So I just think that when you start talking about the understanding of the game and being able to grow your football acumen, you clearly see that in Lamar Jackson. And here's the other part, the nuance of the game. The touch throw that he had to Mark Andrews up the seam for a touchdown when there was a mismatch against the safety, or the touch pass to Devin Duvernay in the corner of the end zone back pylon. Those are tremendous throws. We all know Lamar has a cannon, but being able to layer throws and being able to put that touch on throws and give your receiver a chance to make a play on the football, I think that just shows how much he's evolved at the position. And so when we start having the conversations about the best quarterbacks in the game, Glenn, I don't know that you can make a strong argument against Lamar Jackson being the best quarterback right now in the NFL.
Wow, that is a strong statement, dude. I mean, obviously Josh Allen's, despite them losing, he's still quite good. But, bro, the way he's playing, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he is. It's like I described it yesterday as it's like watching an orchestra conductor right now. Like, he just has utter and complete command of everything that's in front of him.
And what makes him even more difficult to defend, even more so than a guy like Josh Allen, is his suddenness, the explosion in his game. I mean, Lamar Jackson on those zone reads, I mean, he'll put the ball in the belly of one of the running backs. He'll pull it and crease the defense right down the middle. It's just something that we haven't seen at the quarterback position in the National Football League. We just haven't. And so when we start talking about the quarterbacks that are toughest to defend, I mean, Lamar Jackson, we all knew that he was one of the most dynamic runners in all of football, but now I think he's one of the most dynamic passers as well.
Yeah.
And people question whether he can throw the ball down the field outside of the numbers in the well. And he's doing that. Overwhelmingly, that's where he's winning in the passing game, from the pocket. So it's about time that people turn on the tape and give this guy his due, because he deserves it.
It's amazing.
You're talking about him being the best quarterback on the field in every single game he's played this season so far.
Boy, we are enjoying the hell out of it, man. As you can imagine, you know how this market is, you know how this city and these fans are. It is incredible. Chris Canty is with us here on GCR. Chris, the thing that jumped out at me a little bit on Sunday as we try to project moving forward, I think we still know that an offense needs some balance, and that was a big thing that was missing in the debacle against the Dolphins. Was they had a 21-point lead, and yet they got out time of possession by 10 minutes because they couldn't run the ball with their running backs. We saw J.K. Dobbins get back out on the field. I think we really liked what we saw from Justice Hill in the second half. Did you see enough in the run game against the Patriots to make you say the Ravens can get that back to where it can be the right complement to have that perfect blend of balance that an offense needs to win a Super Bowl?
No, I still didn't see enough.
Okay.
I still didn't see enough. And going into yesterday's game, you got to remember, on 31 rushing attempts, Baltimore Ravens running backs had no broken tackles.
Yeah.
And I think yesterday, J.K. Dobbins had a broken tackle. It was a nice spin move that he put on one of the outside linebackers for the Patriots. But outside of that, you're not seeing a lot of broken tackles from the running backs for the Baltimore Ravens. And you're going to have some of those make a miss moments in order to get more mileage out of the run game. I mean, the offensive line is blocking it up for the Baltimore Ravens. Going into yesterday's game, they were 7th in the National Football League in run block win rate. So it's not like they're not getting movement at the point of attack. It's just that the running backs haven't been able to take full advantage of the holes that the offensive line is opening up. And so I think that's the next step for this Ravens offense. But also I will say this, I have full confidence that they have the guys in the room that can get it done. J.K. Dobbins, that was his first action in over a year. Like, just give him some time to settle in. I think he's going to be huge. Him getting seven carries in the run game, Justice Hill being the change of pace guy, I think they'll be fine. You're just hoping that it comes around sooner rather than later, just to take some more pressure off of Lamar.
What did you see from Daniel Faalele, Chris? Because we're hoping that Ronnie Stanley will get back at some point, but I think it's a question where we start to have to use the word if. We are nervous about what's going on there. Maybe Patrick McCary returns next week, and he struggled to start the game, but boy, it looked like he really found his footing quickly and that he can play at this level.
Well, I tell you what, Faalele struggled when he was going up against Dietrich Wise as soon as he was thrust in the action in the second quarter, right? Dietrich Wise had a couple of back-to-back sacks, so it was a situation where you felt like he was overmatched. But the thing that I liked about what I saw about him in the second half was his ability to be able to generate movement at the point of attack in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember the last O play where Lamar Jackson was able to get into the end zone, that was Faalele as the lead blocker pulling around into that hole and clearing it out for Lamar. So if he can do those types of things, I think the Ravens can scheme around whatever help he would need in pass protection. So overall, I thought it was a place to start. There's some things that concern you, but there were also some positives in there. But we know that as young players get more reps, they get more confidence. Confidence comes from demonstrated performance. So, I'm encouraged overall by what I saw from the Ravens. And I think offensive line is one of those things we have to watch along with the run game. But they'll be okay as long as number 8 is under center.
He is former Raven Chris Canty, who was on the call for the Ravens' win over the Patriots for ESPN Radio. He's with us here on GCR. Chris, the concerning side of the ball would be the defense, obviously, and they did what they needed to do. And in a weird way, man, I don't know. It's so hard to be a good defense in the NFL, given the way the rules are written to benefit offense at this point. And I know it's only one game worth of evidence, but they made the plays that they needed to make in the second half. Is there a chance that this Ravens defense could be a playmaking defense instead of being, a statistically dominant defense, that what their strength could be is a team that makes big plays and gets the ball out when they need to?
Well, I think they've shown yesterday they can be opportunistic. Being able to generate 5 turnovers when you include the turnover on downs, that's huge in terms of being able to get your offense extra possessions and field position. And even if they have to be a bend but don't break outfit and an outfit that thrives off of takeaways, that's still a formula for success in terms of being able to win championships. And when I won a Super Bowl with the New York Giants in 2011, that was one of our big things. We're a defense that gave away a lot of yards, but we did create a lot of turnovers. We got a lot of sacks, and we were good situational football, third down and red zone. So I think it's a formula that can have success, and I think that's what Mike McDonald is going to have to preach to his guys. And you saw that with the young guy Kyle Hamilton coming up with that strip on Nelson Aguilar late in that game. Like, that was a huge play that really thwarted any type of comeback attempt from the New England Patriots.
He had been off to a bit of a struggle in the first couple of games. And look, I get it. He's a rookie. That's the way this works, right? But what can something like that do for a player to have a moment like that and for their confidence? I feel like around town we're hoping that could be a turning point for Kyle Hamilton.
Well, again, just like I said, confidence comes from demonstrated performance and stepping up and being able to make a play in a key situation like that. I mean, that does wonders for a young guy in terms of being able to build him up and help him to feel like he belongs and that he can contribute to this team even as a rookie. So those are the things that we're looking for from Kyle Hamilton. I mean, the guy was, top half of the first-round pick. So he's going to have to be a playmaker for this Ravens defense. And quite frankly, based on what we've seen the last couple of weeks, they're going to need that in the passing game.
Yeah.
Yesterday, they gave up a lot of yards. I mean, Devontae Parker had a day.
Yep.
Coming into yesterday's game, Devontae Parker only had 1 catch for 9 yards. And he feasted on the Ravens secondary, but you saw in the second half they were able to make some adjustments, and the two early interceptions that Mac Jones threw in the second half, those were targeting Devontae Parker, and you saw the Ravens were able to create those takeaways. So, it's just one of those things that this secondary feels like it's going to be a work in progress all season. And so we just gotta have to, be patient with them. But I do think they do have the guys with the ball skills that can generate a lot of takeaways. The other concern that I have on that defense,
the rush, right,
is being able to generate pressure up front. And Justin Houston going out yesterday worried me. You saw him go out in that first half, and he didn't return. And that's one of those things that we've got to watch. Now, they closed out the game with the pass rush. Matabuke and Big Baby Williams and Calais Campbell in particular. Those guys did a great job in terms of being able to generate that interior pressure and get after the quarterback. And then we know what Odafe Owe can do. So, it's just, again, it's not the Ravens defense that we're accustomed to seeing in terms of being lights out, lockdown, shut down, 3-and-outs all over the place. But it still can be a disruptive defense and an opportunistic defense. And I think that complements very well the strength and the identity of this team, which is on the offensive side of the ball.
They're bringing in a former teammate of yours, Jason Pierre-Paul, which I don't know what to make. What could we possibly expect from Jason Pierre-Paul at this point in his career?
Well, I had an opportunity to talk to a couple of the people on the Ravens staff yesterday before the game, and they're excited about what JPP can do. And one of the things that I mentioned to them was his ability to be able to rush from all over the line of scrimmage. I mean, you can have him out on the edge. He was an outside linebacker down in Tampa. You can put his hand in the dirt at defensive end. That's what he did with the New York Giants. But one of the other things he did when I played with him at the Giants was be able to kick down inside over guards and centers. And that's where you're going to find tremendous mismatches, because that guy putting guards in space, it's a tough matchup for offensive linemen because of his athleticism and his explosiveness. And the thing that I like about a guy like JPP is that he's strong when it comes to run game at the point of attack. So even if you're talking about sub-package runs, he's going to be able to hold up against those guards and centers in there. And so you're not really losing much, or you're not giving away much when it comes to kicking them down inside if you want to take advantage of certain matchups. So I just think he brings a lot of versatility. There's still plenty of gas left in the tank. So I'm excited to see what could end up happening and how he can contribute to this Baltimore Ravens pass rush.
Chris, last one for you. Obviously, by default, the Dolphins are the best team in the AFC right now, but you have to go bet $1,000 today on who's going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. You have to do it. You don't have a choice. Who would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I mean, listen, I think the Ravens are on a short list of teams that have the potential to do it. I'm concerned about the Buffalo Bills' ability to win close games.
It's insane.
So
that's one of the great anomalies in all of sports, right? Like, how is it possible they haven't won a one-score game in 2 years?
Yeah, I don't know how that's even possible, but that's the reality of it. And unfortunately, you are what you are in this league, and that's what it is. And so I would probably still put my money on the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay.
Although it looked ugly in Indianapolis yesterday, I think Harrison Butker being there changes the outcome of that game. Maybe they don't go for the fake field goal with Matt Amendola early in the fourth quarter. Sky Moore muffing a punt and creating a point-blank range scoring opportunity for that Colts offense to get them going didn't help the matter. Travis Kelce dropping a touchdown pass didn't help. And certainly Chris Jones getting that personal foul at the end of that game didn't help. I can come up with a myriad of different reasons as why the Chiefs ended up losing that game. That game was more about the Chiefs giving it away than it was about the Colts winning it. And so I would still probably lean toward the Kansas City Chiefs. But I will say this, our Baltimore Ravens are right there.
I like that. I liked your emotions. I just saw the video you posted, or that ESPN Radio shared, of you guys reacting to Lamar's touchdown run. That is pretty good.
I'm supposed to be objective, Glenn.
I get it, bro.
I'm supposed to be partial, but it's hard to do that.
I know you had a good